Isn't it weird how the Bears always find a way to win the offseason? They are always the team that claims to have won the offseason. But isn't it also weird that the Bears are always the team that find a way to disappoint after winning the offseason? And Ben Johnson is the first Bears coach to notice this, to truly notice what is going on, and something is shifting in this Bears front office, in this Bears entire organization. They have had back to back bad losses. They were in both of these games until they just shut down completely. They were close with the Lions, they were beating the Vikings, and they still find a way to lose these games. Now, Caleb is not playing up to standard. True. DJ Moore is not playing how he should. True. Players aren't trying. True. Ben Johnson is noticing all of this, and he wants to know what went wrong with this entire Bears organization. Well, I have some stats that I want to look at. First and foremost, let's look at the offense. Caleb Williams as a QB is not aggressive. And I say aggressive as the stat term and not by the eye watcher term. There is a stat called aggressiveness, which is how willing a QB is to throw the ball in tight windows. And Caleb has the fourth lowest aggressiveness percentage. Josh Allen is the lowest, which is a huge drop from last year, but I blame that on play calling. And while, like the picture suggests, it doesn't always have to be a bad stat to be less aggressive, it just shows that there's something wrong in terms of this Bears offense. Where if the low aggressive percentage could mean that people are open, or it could just mean Caleb is waiting more. And based on what we've seen from the Bears this season and last season, it seems like Caleb is waiting more for the right read. He came into the offseason wanting to fix his turnover issue, I want to say. And he's taking time to go through his reads. And if it's not open, he's not throwing it, which doesn't have to be bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good either. But going back to a player like Josh Allen, who is now the lowest in aggressiveness percentage, because he dropped from his aggressiveness last year. Caleb Williams did not drop. He dropped maybe 2% on his aggressiveness. Not only that, but Caleb is the most hurried QB in the league with 9 hurries on the season. Hurried is a defensive stat where the QB is forced to throw the ball away or scramble to extend the play. Now, there's two parts of this. Caleb's O line just isn't good at the NFL level, and Caleb likes to scramble out of the pocket. Those are two true facts about Caleb. And half and half have an effect on the stat. He does like to scramble, he does like to get out of the pocket, but he only extends the play when he believes that he has to. But he is very antsy when that comes. He will scramble when he notices the littlest bit of pressure. Now moving away from Caleb for a second, the players just are not trying without the ball, especially someone like DJ Moore. I mean, Ben Johnson came out in an interview and said players do not play hard without the ball in their hands. And this specifically was a shot at DJ Moore. DJ Moore does not try with the ball not in his hands. Ben Johnson is a huge fan of wide receivers blocking in space, blocking on wide receiver screens, blocking on run plays, blocking on running back screens. He loves it. And while Romo Dunze statistically is a worse run blocker than DJ Moore just does not try when it comes to run blocking because he doesn't have the ball. And Ben Johnson is putting this huge importance on this next practice. This next practice is going to be huge for the Bears offense. And are we going to believe him? That is the question. This next practice is going to be able to tell everything for this Bears team. Now, before I get into what I think personally will be super important for the Bears, let's take a look at some defensive statistics that really were just mind boggling to me. I couldn't comprehend how bad they were. They were some of the worst advanced defensive statistics I personally have ever seen, only behind the Dolphins, which the Dolphins are statistically probably one of the worst defenses ever. But that's a whole other story. The Bears defense allows 75% passing completion, second lowest, league high 7 passing touchdowns, 297 rushing yards. They have a league average sack percentage, one of the worst EPA per play percentage, which EPA per play, I'm going to break it down really quickly. EP is expected points. Expected points basically is a stat in the NFL that takes everything into account and gives a point average for how expected the team is to score. So a higher EP means you are more expected to score, a lower EP means you are less expected to score. EPA, the A means added, expected points added. So a 2nd and 7 from your own end zone is going to be lower EP because you're not expected to score. A 2nd and 7 in the red zone is going to be higher because you are more expected to score. EPA, earned point average per play. So every play is taken into account now, pretty much, just to sum it up. Again, they have the second lowest success percentage, which basically means QBs are more successful at getting first downs on the Bears defense. Second lowest EPA per pass. Okay. Expected point average per pass. QBs are passing more and they are getting more. They're getting closer to the end zone than expected. And they are league average at EPA per rush. Again, running backs are running further distances closer to the end zone. They're giving up more expected points. One stat that the Bears are actually high at is scramble percentage. They are like fourth in scramble percentage with like a 1%. And I don't even know if I could count that stat as good because it mean like I could kind of look at this as saying QBs they face do not have to leave the pocket. They are not getting pressure onto these QBs because they're just league average in sack percentage. If they had a high sack percentage, I could maybe justify their scramble percentages. The QB isn't able to escape the pocket and he's not able to get plays moving, so he has to just stay in the pocket. But their defense is such, just for lack of better terms, their defense is Swiss cheese. You can find a hole in it no matter where you look. The scramble percentage doesn't mean jack shit because you can just pass on this team. You can run on this team. You are going to get statistics by just making a play. Like I can't even say passing or running. You just make a play and they're not going to be able to stop it. So coming back full circle, what can the Bears do? Now, I'm not an analyst that likes to just give a definition like, oh, the Bears are going to turn this around. They're going to make it look good because there's a lot of outcomes to what could happen. I'm going to give a couple things and I'm going to give a high and a low. Now, I found something huge while I was doing some research. DeAndre Swift is not a good running back. I have been on this train ever since he was on the Eagles, ever since he was on the Lions, even. He's not a good running back. He's just a very athletic running back. He's a freak of nature, and he's able to get yards because he's such a freak of nature, but he does not have good backfield vision. I found Ben Johnson saying their backup running back, Kyle Monangai, is going to be getting an increase in touches. He got an increase in touches against the Lions, but obviously they were being blown out, so they're just going to bring him in. He had his snap count increased by 19, and the percentage went up by like 20%, I want to say, 22%. And Ben Johnson is saying he wants to get him more touches. While Kyle Monangai is not as much of a freak of nature as DeAndre Swift, he has good backfield vision, which will average out from DeAndre Swift. The Bears offense is stuck behind a bad running back. They cannot run plays as efficiently as other teams because their running back isn't good. There's no threat from the running back, and DeAndre Swift is the lead back. There is no backup for them. So getting another running back into the game will be huge. Another thing that is really bad, the Bears have no target share when it comes to any other receiver besides their top two. DJ Moore and Romo Dunze get all the targets. Their tight end, Cole Kmet, doesn't get any targets. He gets nothing. Not only that, their first round pick, Colston Loveland, isn't getting any targets. He may have had two in the past 2 games. One target per game is not really what you want from a first round pick. Now, another player, Luther Burden, who is currently their either wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. He might be behind Olamide Zacchaeus. He needs to get the ball more too. And Ben Johnson specifically noted this. He noted two things. First of all, he loves his tight ends and he hasn't been using them, so people are confused. He came out in an interview and said, "That is my bad," after the Lions game specifically. He said, "That is not quote for quote, but I'm just going to summarize." He said, "I want to get the tight ends more involved. I want to get Colson Loveland the ball more, and I want the tight ends in more packages to share the targets more." Pretty much. Not only that, he said he wants to get rookies involved. And this is a side point from the Kyle Monangai thing that I mentioned earlier because he's a rookie from Rutgers. He wants to get his rookies involved, in which he specifically said Kyle Monangai, Colson Loveland, and Luther Burton. And at this point, you could be calling me crazy. You could say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Who the hell is Kyle Monangai? Colson Loveland should be getting the ball, yeah, and Luther Burton is a second round pick from Mizzou. Why should he get the ball? Well, every offense should be spreading the ball to 3 to 4 wide receivers, specifically for the QB to have a chance. Not only that, they should have a decent running back that gives them a threat of running the ball. Not only do they not have a threat of running the ball, the reason why they're in close games and then losing, specifically on the offense, is because there is no target share. You're not worried about Cole Kmet getting the ball. You're not worried about DeAndre Swift running the ball. You're not worried about a third or fourth receiver that will get the ball. All you have to do is take DJ Moore and Romo Dunze out of the game for the Bears, and they have nothing. They have nothing. Ben Johnson does not have play call specifically right now for a third or fourth wide receiver, and it shows. The Bears were down what, like 3 points or a touchdown to the Lions, and then the Lions just exploded. There's nothing the Bears could do. With a combination of a stale offense in the late game and a horrible defense, there's nothing that they can do. So I have my diagnosis. Ben Johnson is currently figuring out who needs to stay and who needs to go. Basically, he is going to get rid of players who are not supposed to be there. DJ Moore specifically, and defensive players that are not playing up to standard. They're probably going to use picks to upgrade their defense. You're going to get rid of offensive weapons who are slowing them down. You're going to use rookies more. And coming out of this week, out of their practices, if Ben Johnson creates more packages for rookies, he gets more wide receivers open, and he fixes any morale issues, I could see the Bears going 9-8 to 10-7 and still being third in the NFC North. Now, on the flip side, if let's say nothing works, the defense is still bad, rookies aren't good because true to form, if the rookies just do not perform like Colson Loveland and Luther Burden, Kyle Monangai are not the answer for this team, I could see them going maybe 5-12. I don't see them going like 4-13. I could see them going 5-12 to like 6-11 because that not only is the AFC North very good, the Bears just don't have anything special to take them over the top. Caleb Williams is just playing all right. DJ Moore isn't doing anything besides catching the ball. Romo Dunze is their only offensive weapon right now. And their defense, like I said, for lack of better terms, is Swiss cheese. So, coming out of this as a Bears fan, I'm giving it, or I'm not, sorry, specifically, I'm not a Bears fan. I'm talking to Bears fan. Give it 2 or 3 weeks. And if you don't see anything, they're not going to have a late season comeback like the Lions did when they went 9-8 a couple years ago before they became good. You're not going to have a late season comeback if you don't start now. Ben Johnson realizes this, and if it doesn't come in the next 3 weeks, he's probably going to tank the season because Ben Johnson, I still believe, is the truth for this offense. Or not just offense, for this team. I believe Ben Johnson is the truth, and I believe he will turn this team around given time. And if this year isn't the year, you blow it all up. A team's going to want Caleb, a team's going to want DJ Moore, a team's going to want some of their defensive stars. You give them up. And if I'm a Bears fan, I would just accept that gracefully and move on to the next season. It starts now. And hopefully it starts soon because I really want Caleb to perform. But I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right. Either in the good side or the bad side. But I believe in Luther Burden, Colson Loveland, Kyle Monangai. I've never heard of him, but hopefully he does something. So we'll have to see how this performs throughout the week.